Welcome to Royal Math Podcast. This podcast covers Lesson 6-1, and we're going to talk about how knowing the parts of an equation will help you identify two-step equations in the word problems. So now let's take a look at those different parts of the equation. So first, we have the coefficient. The coefficient is a numerical or constant quantity placed before and multiplying the variable in an algebraic expression or equation. Then we have the variable. It is a quantity that may change within the context of a mathematical problem, typically represented by a single letter. Then we have the constant. The constant is a number on its own in an expression or equation that has a fixed value and does not contain variables. And last but not least, we have the answer, which is the response to a given question. Now let's see what these definitions look like in the context of an actual equation. So here we have an equation, 4x plus 5 equals 25. The coefficient is the number directly in front of the variable. The variable is usually represented by a letter, generally X or Y, but can be any letter designated by the problem as well. Then we have the constant, and the constant is a standalone number, generally set to a given amount. And then last but not least, we have the answer. And the answer, like we said before, is the response to the given mathematical question. Now that we know the definition of the different parts of the equation and what those definitions look like within the context of that question, let's see what the equation looks like while hidden in a word problem and see if we can extract the equation from that word problem. So here we have a word problem that says John spent a total of $15.75 on one pumpkin and 5 gourds. If the pumpkin costs $7 and each gourd costs the same, what is G, the price of each gourd? So what we're going to do is we're going to mark the text, and we're going to mark it in a manner that makes it easier for us to pull out these 4 different parts of an equation. So one of the easiest things to pull out, especially when it's labeled, is the variable. So here the variable will be represented by blue, and of course they directly come out and say, what is G? G will represent the variable. Okay, so now what are some other information that we can easily pull out? Well, it says John spent a total of $15.75. So to me, that sounds like it could be the answer represented by green, so I am going to mark the text 1575 with green. Now, we have some other numbers on here. We have obviously going to be the coefficient, but no, let's not use green for the coefficient, let's use yellow. So yellow is the coefficient. Now, what the coefficient does is multiply the variable. So the variable is G, and it's talking about gourds, so we know the coefficient is going to be the number talking about the variable, which in this case is the gourds. And then last but not least, we have the constant. Now, we have 2 different numbers associated with the other number set here, which is the pumpkins. So we have one pumpkin, and the pumpkin costs $7. So we're going to ignore where it's talking about one pumpkin because it gives us the price of that pumpkin, and ultimately price is what we're looking for in this equation. So now let's go ahead and write out the equation. So we have the cost, which it equals $15.75, so I know I can write $15.75 as the answer. Now we have the constant, which is 7. So I am going to go ahead and write plus 7. And then we have the coefficient. And the coefficient is going to go in front of the variable, and in this case the coefficient is 5. And then of course the variable is G. So 5G plus 7 equals 1575. There are also some key words that can help you determine what is what. So some of the key words that we might have are each. So if we see each, we know that most likely that is going to be talking about the variable. There is also the words per, every, and numerous others. So please keep a lookout for key words that are located in the word problem to help you write the correct equation. Thank you for watching the Royal Math Podcast. See you around like a donut.